Hello and welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Zoe Hawkins, and my friend and co-host Jo Wheatley.
Hi, everybody. We're really excited to be here with you this week because we are taking you behind the scenes of our Coaching Crowd Business Lounge. Some of you may be familiar with what that is, and for others, you might be thinking, what's that? I haven't heard of that before. So, the Coaching Crowd Business Lounge is a membership or a group that Zoe and I set up about 3 years ago. And it was in response to what we heard from people that were thinking about training to be coaches or training to be coaches, or even coaches who had trained and were about to start up their businesses. And the thing about running a coaching business is often you're a solopreneur, you're working on your own, probably remotely. It can be pretty lonely. It can feel a little bit overwhelming. You might feel a little bit lost. Where do I start? What are the first things to do when you set up a coaching business? And many, many more questions. And because our passion and our mission is to train as many people as possible so that we can increase access to coaches, high quality, ethical coaches to create a bigger positive impact in the world and support mental health. For us, we were like, well, if we're training coaches, we also need to support them in those early stages of being able to set up a successful and a sustainable coaching business.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason we're bringing this to you today is partly the time of year. So we're in November. There's obviously a couple of months left to the end of the year, but we know it's a natural time when many of you will be thinking about what the year might hold, ahead, and whether now is the right time for you to start investing and growing, whether that's a side hustle or whether it's you already have a coaching business and you've got some plans for it next year. And many of you will be thinking about beginning your journey to coaching. And one of the obvious questions when you're starting out thinking about that is, well, if I did want to have a coaching business, like what would that look like and how would I start and where would I get the help and support? So that's the reason why we're bringing it to you now. And we've been in our business lounge this week talking about how the business lounge is evolving and making it fit for purpose for 2024. And one of the really exciting things about the business lounge is that we're making it much more accessible to first our learners. So at the moment, when you purchase our courses, the business lounge has been time limited to 12 months if you're on the ILM 7 or 6 months if you're on the ILM 5. And actually, if you do our emotions coaching practitioner training, there hasn't been business lounge access associated with that program. But we wanted to open the business lounge up to so many more people and give people the time to really use the extensive library of resources that we have inside the business lounge. So when you purchase our courses, we'll be updating the website in January. Everybody that is in the business lounge at that point is going to have that unlimited access. So when you buy our courses, you'll be able to luxuriate in that library of resources for the duration of your coaching journey and beyond. So you get to access the education that's in there on demand whenever you need it in your business lounge, in your business journey. So for us, that's a really exciting development of the business lounge.
And that really came from watching and listening to our learners, but also our other members of the business lounge as to how did they access the content? Did they find most useful? What are the features that are most important to them? So when we shared that news in the business lounge this week, it was great that the feedback that we heard was phew, because it took the time pressure away from people. Because if you're undertaking training and trying to start a coaching business, it can feel like a lot to fit in one go. So what it means is that people get to use the business lounge in a way that suits their individual needs. So there are I think there are about 38 expert speaker sessions. There are other sessions that Zoe and I have done and bits and pieces in there. So there are about 40 different curated nuggets, really. So like up to an hour of content. There are resources in there to guide you through. It's about being part of a community. So you have a learning platform, but you also have a community space where people go in and they will do videos on what they're celebrating, what's going well, and more importantly, what have they learned from the actions that they've taken. And people will go in there and do a similar thing. and they'll say, can somebody review my website for me? I've never done this before. Or some people want to have an accountability buddy because, the actions you need to take to get visible can feel daunting on your own. And you can think, who cares about this? Nobody does. It's just me. I need somebody else, or want to have somebody else that's going to go on this journey with me. So we see collaborations, we see support, we see sharing and reassurance and confidence building amongst that group. So it's a really wonderful and special space to be, because sometimes, yes, while information is out there and you can research, actually there are so many decisions to make when you're a business owner. What we try to do is, like, one decision to join the business lounge means you've got access to all of that information that you'll need to get started.
Yeah. And when it comes to what that information is, we reflected deeply on our coaching journey and all the different learnings that we needed to go through in order to build our business. And our business is predominantly a coaching training business, but the same principles apply. And if you follow us, what you'll see is we do have a presence through this podcast. We do have a Facebook group. We do have a YouTube channel. And our strategy is really about attraction marketing. We don't like making cold approaches to people. We don't like that direct sales. We like to work from the heart and draw clients in through getting to know us, understanding who we are, thinking about whether we're aligned to them. And so when we curated the content that's inside the business lounge, we looked at topics such as supporting people with their ideal client, their brand and their messaging, the marketing strategies that they might like to use and follow, the sales strategies that they need. There's information in there on pricing, on email marketing, some of the foundations of a coaching business, like accounting, for instance, like should you be a limited company or a sole trader? These 40 trainings that Jo sort of described there are really all in our chunks, giving you hints, tips, starters on how to grow and develop and start to piece your business together without having to go and spend a fortune on coaching training or scouring sort of YouTube for hours just trying to find the bites of information that you need. So we've really tried to provide speakers who have graciously come into the lounge to share their expertise, to really give you a container in which to find what you need to either get started in business or also take your business from where it is now to the next level, whilst being supported by other people who are on the same journey as you.
And we've got a really special offer for you if you aren't planning on doing one of our courses next year. We'd love it if you came and joined us on the emotions coaching or the ILM accredited coaching training. But if you've already done that with us, or actually you're not at that point in your journey, you are able to join what we call a flash sale. It will be £99, and that will be to join us before the 30th of November. So before the 30th of November, 2023. And that will then gain you that lifetime access of the business lounge to all of the different resources and also the community. So it's something you're going to have to take fast action on if you are interested. And we'll give you the details of the website.
Yeah, it's igcompany.co.uk/lounge. If you're listening to this after that date, we may open and close the doors at another time. So, join the waiting list if you see that there. But certainly for people listening in real time, do come and join us before the 30th of November. And that lifetime access is for as long as the business lounge is a service of ours. And we have no plans to remove it, but we can't promise what will happen 5 or 10 years in the future. But certainly for now, you'll have access to that for as long as that continues. So one of the reasons we put that offer together, again, is about accessibility. When you're starting out in your coaching business, or for many coaches, it's a side hustle and they're just taking a few clients each month. You don't want to go and spend, well, many coaches don't want to go and spend thousands and invest thousands in understanding how to grow and develop the business lounge, their business. Sorry, I've obviously got business lounge on the brain. So by giving you this low entry offer, in providing you with all of that time to use the resources, it's a way for you to come and invest in your business and give yourself the opportunity to access more clients and have a bigger impact in the world, which is ultimately what it's all about.
I think part of our awareness as well is about changing climate generally, and that lots of people don't want to have a subscription, and that was the model that we had before for the business lounge. And so before, the business lounge would cost you £45 per month, or if you bought annually, it would be £450. So it might seem a little bit crazy that we're offering lifetime access now for £99. In fact, Zoe messaged me and said, "Are we crazy for doing this?" And thought, well, better just sleep on it and decide. But we feel really aligned to increasing access to as many people as possible, and that feels really positive for us. So if it speaks to you, you'll know that it's speaking to you, and at least it's you're making a decision as to is that going to be worth £99 for me, and if it is, then it's just that one-off investment for that kind of lifetime access for you.
Yeah, and on the theme of accessibility, we're also going to be running a masterclass on planning and growing a business in 2024, where we're going to be sharing with you some of the principles around how we grew our business, looking at attraction marketing and the use of social media. And we'll share with you details of the business lounge again on that masterclass. But you can come to that masterclass to get deeper knowledge around actually what are some of the things that I might like to think about for 2024. There are a number of strategies that we'll share, and also some practicalities that may just help to inspire you around ideas that you perhaps hadn't thought about, or things that you want to plan for. And we'll be running that masterclass on the 24th of November. And you can sign up to that at igcompany.co.uk/2024. And we'll repeat those links at the end of today's podcast. But the reason why we're doing that is because each year, Joe and I do plan ahead for the year. So we use time blocking as something that's really important to us. Like, our diaries can get very busy with obviously the training schedules that we run, and also other things that we are doing on a day-to-day basis. If we don't time block for different projects or different ideas or developing course content, things just don't get done because we can't find the concentrated time. And we also look at 90-day plans. So we find it challenging to plan for a whole year. Obviously, we have our training calendar planned for a whole year, but a year can change so much. So we chunk the year down into 90 days. So we take it quarter by quarter and focus on the priorities for the quarter ahead. And that just really helps us to stay laser focused in business. So we'll be sharing with you hints and tips like that, and also other things that could really support you on your business journey into the next year.
I think the interesting thing about the kind of quarterly planning versus like planning for the year ahead is, in your business, it could mean the difference between like having one goal for a year, so achieving one big thing, versus quarterly, then we're achieving 4 big things in the year. And for us, that feels good. And 12 weeks is sometimes we have to work very intensely on a particular project to achieve it in that time, or we'll chunk the project down. But just start to think about what do you want the next year to look like, and how are you going to make it look like that? Like, what is the intention? We're also working on our calendar for 2025, because we have lots of people booking our ILM level 7 along with our emotions coaching practitioner training, that combination. And so they do their ILM training first, followed by the emotions coaching. So we have to work ahead in that way. And of course, we have our bigger overarching plans that we sense we're coming to, that we kind of take those kind of more micro actions as we progress closer to getting really into the detail of achieving them. But for us,
sorry, Joe, I was just going to say, on kind of 2025, like, that's how things get done for us, isn't it? Like, if you look back on this podcast, the book, launching the emotions coaching practitioner training, those things wouldn't have got done if it wasn't for those 90-day plans. And as we look ahead, and you're talking there around 2025, we know we've got another book in us, and that's not going to get written if we leave it to chance. So that's got to be planned in. And the way that we wrote the last one was through time blocking. So we had 4 days in a property together, and then another Airbnb later on in the year. And then we had an editing week. So, you need a good kind of chunk of time for us, the way that we work, to be able to produce that. So if we don't plan ahead for 2025, we like to know and be confident that things are going to happen at a timeline that feels aligned to the way that we want to work as well.
And for us, it's just imperative. We're constantly reviewing the services that we offer and how we offer them, and checking that there's alignment with our energy for things, and how that, changes and evolves to say that being in the business and, forming and shaping the business feels good to us, so that we can bring that energy through our services that exist, but also the services that we'll be creating, for our existing audience, but also other people that want to come and join us in some capacity or other. So, even your, most popular services or coaching packages, it's really important to review them, but maybe even particularly when they're going really well, to see what are any tweaks that you might want to make. How's your knowledge grown and your approach grown, and is that reflected in what you offer, and how aligned does it feel to the life you want to be leading as you look in towards 2024?
It's often about testing the market as well, isn't it, with different things. And in the Business Lounge, where we've got some of our founding members, one of the pieces of content you'll be able to access in there is a masterclass, 2-hour masterclass that we ran, which is around generating consistent clients and the strategies that you can use for consistent clients. And in there's a number of different layers that you can place in your business. And our founding members are at that phase where they are noticing how they are layering now in their business. So they have a great presence in terms of visibility, let's say on LinkedIn. Many of them have established either a blog or an ebook or some other kind of funnel. And now they're moving up to put more and more layers into their business, which just helps to expand that ability to generate consistent clients. And I think what's really interesting is noticing how those coaches are now starting to recognize the power of planning and time blocking and being experimental and agile in the market. So, that's where the Business Lounge has really come in to support coaches, both in the early days, but also as you kind of mature and build your confidence and your also awareness of how to do business right. Because you can be a fantastic, amazing, world-class coach, but if you don't have any real plans and strategies and how to run your business, then your clients aren't just going to happily find you. There's definitely things that you can do to bring that along. So yeah, it's for us, it's just it's an exciting part of business, I think, when you can start to bring alive your business and see the fruits of your effort actually working to bring your clients in for you.
And of course, we're members of the Coaching Crowd Business Lounge. So, we see all the posts, we comment on posts, where we've got value to add. So as much as it is our group, we are in there too. So if you want to come and join us in that space, Zoe, do you want to share the links? I'm conscious we've shared two, one for the Business Lounge and one for the Masterclass.
Yeah. And before I do, it takes me back to when we set up the original Coaching Crowd group and then built the Business Lounge. One of the fundamental principles of how we do business is to create communities that we want to be a part of. And that still continues as the backbone and essence of our business today. And this podcast is very much one of those. So those links, if you want to just hop into the Business Lounge for that £99 lifetime access, where you'll get those, I think it's about 38 trainings, and there's still a couple more that we're adding in. So there'll be about 40 trainings in there for you, plus the community. You can head over to igcompany.co.uk/lounge and pick that offer up. And if you want to join us for the masterclass on the 24th of November, 2023, you can come and join us at igcompany.co.uk/2024. And we look forward to meeting many of you there.